Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big Fitness Podcast.
You're here.
I am here with Ronaldo Griffin, or better known as
Magnum314. You know what it is. St. Louis representative. We here, man.
Let's go, man. Hey, dude, thank you.
Man, hey,
thank you
pleasure.
for coming on.
No, my pleasure, bro. I appreciate this all the way. Sound like when I heard about the whole concept of coming in and being able to be, and Izzy was introduced us to, she was like, yeah, just, get on the podcast. And I'm like, what are we going to talk about? And it's like, no, you gotta meet this guy, Jordan. You gotta meet him. And I'm like, all right, and I meet this dude, and I'm like, yeah, I did have to meet this guy, man.
Yeah, straight up.
The positive energy is like ridiculous, man. And I'm like, this motor goes the same way mine do, so I don't have to explain anything. It's easy, man. So yeah, man, I'm here.
Dude, when you go hard as fuck, dude, to build yourself from nothing, nothing. You are just gonna resonate with all the human beings who have actually done it.
Because it's a certain aura that you hold, right? It's a certain positioning that you like, I know what you've been through. I don't know the details, but man, for you to be here and be feeling like this, man, you good in my book, man.
No, right, dude, insane, man. Dude, and I appreciate you so much for being here. That's kind of why we kind of brought you onto the podcast, because of your story. It's inspiring, the things that you do. So like, you're a hip hop artist.
Yes.
So we want to get into that. You've had like some like rough beginnings as we have. So we want to kind of see like how you got out of that. The process of like transformation is amazing.
It's ongoing.
And ongoing.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be really awesome to get into. And you have a story and you have a message you're trying to get out. So I also want to get into that.
Yes, sir.
So let's get to it, man. So first things first, give us an idea of your background, man. Go all the way back and then to now, like where you are currently in a nutshell. And then let's dive into those stories behind that kind of brought you to where you are now.
That's solid. Born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Early 80s, baby. So I've been around for a good while. Lived through just some of the roughest situations in the city. I know a lot of people want to glorify, but that's a part of my story. It's just really hard to just like recollect and reflect because it's so much pain and trauma behind it, you know what I'm saying? But it is the motive to keep going. But yeah, born in St. Louis, Missouri, in the rougher parts, man. Had a lot of drugs, crime, not really having a stable environment. My mom did the best she could. I'm middle child of four in her situation because there's two older brothers and a younger sister. So that's why I say the middle child, because the little girl takes over. And on my dad's side, I'm the oldest of six. And we had a strained relationship because of that, me being the oldest and him speaking more life into his other children. I was kind of less out here floating or whatever, but also still going through the transitions of just political situations in the early 90s, drugs, like I said, and got involved in gangs very early and made it to this point, man, just based off of sheer will and luck. I can honestly say luck had a strong participation in this situation, man. I'm trying to get detailed, but like a lot of this, I had an upbringing of my grandmother. She passed it when I was 12, and I haven't had a grandparent since. So a lot of people, they have had that type of structure. So I want to shape it up and say I've been alone for a very long time. So that goes with my motor. Like I have to be self-starting all the time, self-maintaining all the time. And now even in this part of my life now, being a father, I have to continue to push that energy off too, So from the beginning of, like I say, I really want to reiterate this drug situation because that affected my family very strongly. My brother's been to prison a lot of times for these situations, and I was a victim of certain situations by the skin of my teeth, and by like luck, I was able to continue my life as it stands, so, yeah.
So in like, I know you said like drugs impacted, is there anything like deeper around like what that meant?
So, I mean, yeah, we were part of house raids, like police raid. I mean, imagine this, and I just want to give some context. I was 8, at home, sleep, 3 o'clock in the morning, boom, they all come in your house, right? You don't know what's going on. You're a child. guns in your face, people on the ground, you know, and that's a part of the environment. Like, and this didn't happen once, but this happened twice, right? So, and you have to deal with those type of situations. And they were brought upon from the war on drugs, if you want to call it that, but honestly, they were brought upon because we have some things already, some mechanisms in place to allow those type of behaviors to happen, because you don't see those in affluent environments. So all that type of negativity allowed me to just think, this is my life. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm going to be able to deal with. And once you get through those type of traumas in that present moment, you don't think that it's even worse. You tell that story to someone else, and I'm not getting into details as far as like how they handled us as children. They roughed us, they you know, my mom was of course upset, so they handled her, and you seeing your mom being roughhoused and thrown on the ground, and your brother's handcuffed, and you see, you know, just no regard when they leave. That's very traumatic. You know, even still, nobody's sitting here consoling you because they're having to deal with their own situations as well. And so when you see the byproduct of that, people dying behind it. I've lost so many friends behind just the streets overall. Just went to funerals back to back. Like, you'll hear about one funeral, and then in the middle of that preparation for that, somebody else is saying, "Oh, such and such is going too." You know,
what's the cause of all these?
The street, people getting shot. You know what I'm saying? People getting shot. Just, you know, that was very normal, very super normal. So I'm like, that's my life.
Getting shot is normal, you're saying?
Well, that's a byproduct of the environment, right? You think about, you don't have that many resources, right? In your area, we have, what I'm learning now, food deserts. We're not bedroom community, we're food deserts. We don't have any economical empowering, and especially in that time. Right?
Is this gang related, or is this
at this time it wasn't
just violence?
This is just violence. This is every day. I hadn't even reached gang violence at that time. Like, I'm already going through just emotions of being a child in an environment of no opportunity.
It's just how things are dealt with.
This is the mind frame. This is the shaping, right?
Yeah, and that's the environment you grew up in.
And being helpless in an environment that you're just a victim of that circumstance. So even still to this day, I ride through certain neighborhoods and I just empathize with the people that are stuck there now, because it's not like a choice. People always say, oh, people can just choose to do certain things. Well, tell that to those children or those people that are just older children now. They've never been able to be exposed to more than that. You know, at that time, I was only exposed to womanized behavior, you know, no real structure in households, just survival, right? And this is normal. You see people fighting in the streets. You see people, police running down on you. I remember a time when I was 12, and me and a friend of mine, we were walking in the same direction, and we got swooped down on by the police, right? We weren't doing anything legitimately. This is before I actually took a liking to joining the brotherhood like that, you know, swoop down on us. We children, I'm 12, right? I'm not, you know, almost hit me with the car, right? Grab me, throw me over here, tell him, sit down, right? Other guy harassing, we're children, right? Harass me, ask me questions and everything, pick me up, tell me, all right, you go that way, and if I see y'all again, whatever. So now I'm like, that sets a precedence for now. I don't care about them either. We don't have any protectors anymore. Now I was already dealing with y'all, you know, with those situations, and with the raids and you know, just knowing getting locked up is a everyday thing, right? That, you know, just avoid the police and avoid the ops. That's what you're supposed to do, and try to make his money the best way you can. After that, you get into where you're not even doing anything. You're trying to, because I was a straight A student, straight A student, like to the point where it was almost, teachers wouldn't be encouraging, like, I don't want to call on you because I know you know the answer. So that was discouraging too.
Kind of interesting that like you grow up in a situation where it's very easy to say fuck the system, fuck everybody, and that but you're showing up to like do well at school. Like what do you think caused that?
Well, we didn't know that there was a system. We just did. That was all I had. Like, you go to school, you come home, and you make it the best way you can after that. But then you go to school. That was like the only place you're just doing what's in front of you. And then stuff became easy because if 1 and 2 and 3 equals 6. Well, cool. I know what I'm doing now, right? But that was my only safe haven too, because around me is only the environmental elements. That's it. Like, and those things weren't really truly appealing to me because it was normal life. It's like you being rich, right? You're not fascinated behind having a Maserati in a driveway in a big house because that's what you're used to. Well, the same thing is when you don't have, right? So I'm not fascinated behind all the drugs and all the pimping and all that stuff because that's my normal life. Or the fights in the streets and gang violence, shooting, that's just normal stuff to me. That's not something to overcome. I don't know the system is happening because that's what's happening. That's happening to my everyday. We had a situation, I'm not gonna name the school, but they had the police there for a fair, if you want to call it. They have field day or whatever, and they fingerprinted the children as a thing, but they kept the fingerprint cards. So I mentioned this later on to someone. We were just, we were talking about the parachute and flipping the balls, and they say, y'all, they fingerprint y'all? And I'm like, what's the problem with that? Well, think about that though. What's the one thing that never goes away, right? But if you're in the system, then,
They were fingerprinting you when you were in?
See, you said the same thing that they said, yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they kept the cards with our names on them. Think about that.
That's wild.
Put that in perspective. Why would you do that? You wouldn't do that in a more affluent neighborhood, but you did that because you already know that we're subject to a certain type of degree. So we're going to get some of y'all, and we already have a way. Like, I said that as if it was a part of the fair. They were like, that's not normal, right? So these are the type of things that I'll tell you these stories and they seem like, wow, what the hell? And I'm telling you like, what? And that's the type of conditioning that I had for so long, to where you hear gunshots, you think get down. I'm thinking what caliber, right? Or that was a lot of shots, man. Dude must have did something wrong to them. Like those, you thinking like somebody's up with an automatic weapon just terrorizing the situation. And I'm over here saying like, damn, I'm glad I ain't over there, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hope me survive. That's shaping the negativity and the reason why you can look at something a certain way and say, that's messed up. And I can look at something like, shit, that's the worst that ain't the worst that could have happened, right?
Yeah. How long did you stay in that situation? And I know you sort of have mentioned, sorry, this isn't facing me.
No, you good.
And I know you have mentioned, there we go. I know you have mentioned that that you have been involved in gang stuff. I don't know how much you want to get into that. I know that was a big part of your story.
It's a big part.
Like you're coming up in this crazy kind of environment, this life, and you are killing in school. Like for some reason you're like, I'm gonna do it.
It wasn't okay. So my motivation behind that was not to be proud of or a badge. It was just that was what was in front of me. Yeah. So that's the only thing I could own at the time.
I got you. That's interesting.
That's literally the only thing I could own, and I actually became like my embodiment, educated thug. That's the basis of it. I just love the way that things connected.
Educated Thug.
Yeah, that's Educated Thug music group. That's where, I said, like they say, this is me, right? So the book is up, the gun is down, right? Education up, but just know I'm still protected. You know what I'm saying? And that's me. That's the actual silhouette of me.
Hey, let's see. Let's put this up close for everybody. If you can see that.
Yeah.
If not, we will.
We'll have it.
We'll have it. We'll have a link down in the description
for
that.
Educated Thug music group. So that's been around for a long. And Magnum314. We'll get into why I'm calling Magnum in a little bit. But that's that was the basis of it. Like really, I didn't have anything else. So I really fell into academics, not because they were telling me to do it, because we didn't think about college. Let's break that all the way down. The dead end was if you got to graduate.
Like high school?
High school. If you got to graduate high school. So I wasn't climbing the ladder of academics to graduate and go into college and everything because no one around me did that. Like that's not what, either you dodge the police, you dodge the bullets, or you do get out and you just make a life and find a job somewhere and get on up out of Dodge. That was it. If you did go off to college, it was because of academics I mean, athleticism. Pretty much it. Yeah, that was it. That wasn't that was it.
Did you ever get into any athletics? Well,
It's not very early on. I was always fast, right? I was super I was fast, man. Like, you know, but I was a husky kid too. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of a odd paradox. Like, how is this fat kid able to run so fast? You know what I'm saying? Not fast for me. I'm fast but academics and athletics didn't go on so early on. That I didn't get to that point till like middle school and everything like that. So all of that, and I'm using this as a framework, all that was shaped up to say this negativity was normal. This is, you looking like, oh man, this is a negative mind. I'm looking like, shoot, like this is exactly what I'm going through, man. And it's not, everybody else is. So my story is no different. I can't go over here and seek sympathy because we all going through it. But we don't think it's a bad thing. We just know it's the thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so then what now is the transition from high school into like this gang-related stuff you've
so,
kind of been a part
like
of?
I said, being alone a lot, right? You try to find people that, because my brothers are older than me, you know what I'm saying? One's 8 years older than me, one's 6 years older than me. So by the time he's 12, I'm 6. There's nothing to really relate to with him. So, and my sister, she's a girl. She's 3 years younger than me, and like I speak only because I didn't grow up with my dad's side of the family. Like I didn't grow up with them so much, and I'll get to it in a little bit. So being by myself, I had a lot of time. And my mom worked a lot, right? So being by myself a lot, I tried to find somebody to levitate towards, and of course, you subject to whatever's going on in that neighborhood. And we moved from that neighborhood that was so decrepit, you know, into at least less fortunate neighborhood. So that's where I was able to get introduced to the gangs, right? And where I was, the neighborhood affiliation was Crips, right? But we were.
What are the gangs that are involved in St. Louis?
St. Louis now is gotten, so it used to only be Bloods, Crips, and Gangsta Disciples, and a few other one-off gangs. Now, you know, it's everybody comes to St. Louis.
Is it just out of curiosity? Is it just territory that defines the group, or is it a culture?
It used to. You used to definitely know if you went over here to this particular section, these were over there. But now, since so many turf wars have happened, a lot of things have shifted. So now it's gotten just minuscule to where it's streets now. Like people are just representing streets. Now you might have affiliations, but me being a Crip, you know, because that's my affiliation, I still may be cool with some Bloods, right? Just because of our neighborhood. Now, not because of our gang affiliation, our neighborhoods, and there's a mutual respect there too, you know? So it gets a little bit intricate now because you have to know legitimately when you're going through St. Louis where you are and what you're doing. You have to know. It's it's a little bit different than LA, because LA is still defined. Yeah, the territories may expand and implode some, but they're pretty much, if you know Crenshaw and Slauson, that's pretty much rolling 60 territory, right? That's my affiliation. You just know that, right?
You said roller 63?
Rolling 60.
Rolling 60.
Rolling 60. In St. Louis, rolling 60 is a little bit different because we have oppositions that rolling 60.
So what does that stand for?
So 60 is street. They go off street. So rolling 30s, 40s, you know what I'm saying? They go off the streets, you know what I'm saying?
60, okay.
So that's the whole territory there. So it migrated here to the drug game, right? And so they shut up shop here. We have Bloods that set up in certain spots in St. Louis and Crips that set up in certain spots in St. Louis. And they just took over that way because we have Grape Street. That's a actual street out there. We got the Hoovers. We have, you know, the Bounty Hunter Bloods. We have a lot of different gangs throughout St. Louis, right? Piru is a whole different gang. That's affiliated with Bloods, but they have their own affiliation too. So when you have to really know what's going on in the city if you involved. Now, someone like yourself, you're a civilian, right? We wouldn't bang on you.
So like, if you don't have anything, and like people will know.
Yeah. So when people look at the news, right, they always think that when gang stuff happens, usually it's isolated, but they make it seem like it's a widespread. Like right. You're subject to this politics, and that's not true.
Yeah.
Right. You literally, if I didn't see you as a vic for just monetary gain, you just going about your business. You see what I'm saying? Me, I'm not looking for you per se. I'm not looking for I'm looking for somebody that already shows the signs of being a part of this game.
That's really interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. How do you know? How do you know?
So, well, we fly our colors, right?
Okay.
That's number one. Flying colors is number one. You get identified by, like I said, blue, right? Or in his hats, in his shoes, it's belts, it's colors like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can wear regular apparel. Like nowadays, we can wear red. It was at one point in time, Crips didn't wear red. You know what I'm saying? Now it's so intertwined now because we're not on the same time that we were back then, you know what I'm saying? And when I say time, I'm talking about program, schedule, what we was on. Like if it was, I seen you with red shoes, shoestrings in particular, I know you on that. I gotta jump down on you, you know what I'm saying? And this is training, think about this mind frame too, okay? I want to bring it back to my upbringing too, go through the timeline. Going through that and being already negatively focused, right? Just negativity is just, it's not negative, it's way of life, but
right,
you look at it as...
This is to like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now here I am trying to find out who I'm going to be affiliated with because I need help. I need a brotherhood, right? So yeah, I got put on, at 13, shortly after my grandmother passed. That was another traumatic event too. So now I'm really out here. She just lost her mom, so she really can't focus on what I'm doing. And everybody else is grieving because my grandmother was a big staple in our family overall, even in the community, right? Miss Lucy was known, right? So when she was passed, everybody took their own grievance point, right? And I still had the same loneliness. Now it's compounded with grief too, and I need some sort of belonging. So that was a part of my set, if you will. And yeah, I got put on, and after that, we were all in Normandy School District. If anybody knows anything about Normandy School District, it's one of the most neighborhood dense districts because they have from all of we had Bloods, Crips, we had everybody in Normandy. Everybody literally was in Normandy. So it was easy to put in work.
So I was gonna say, so you joined this thing, so that's like your tribe now.
That's my tribe now, yep.
And now, that's your full-time job.
Yeah, because think about it, I'm still a kid.
Because you're kind of a part of not to say that the gangs are militia forces, but just a way of you put together, you're not civilians anymore.
We're not civilians anymore. We're a part of this game.
You've joined the thing.
Yeah, and we know that you have to learn the politics, that we call it politics. You gotta learn the rules of engagement.
And I was going to say, is there a hierarchy and orders and things like this?
Nowadays, the lines are very blurred. And I'll get to, when I say I don't bang anymore, I'm still affiliated, still a member to a certain extent because I have to be in to reach and bring people over to my side. I want people to see this light is better than where you were placed.
Yeah.
This is actually orchestrated.
Because if you're a civilian, you don't understand.
You almost never become a civilian. When they say you can't get out, they say it with a certain asterisk. Because you can't get out overall because how you were trained, right? Your mind frame, I'm stuck there, right? But I don't have to I don't bang on black men anymore because that was my primary target. Right? I don't bang on black men anymore, right? I just defend as a man now, but I don't bang on black men anymore. So therefore, the malicious, violent intent or the politics of that side, they don't exist anymore in how I do my outreach. It just doesn't exist anymore. But people know about Normandy. Like I said, it's very neighborhood dense. So we have literally every gang that you can think about in the St. Louis city is in this melting pot, this powder keg, if you really want to call it that.
Powder keg?
Powder keg.
Powder keg.
Yeah, we had gang situations like daily, weekly. It was what it was, and mind you, I'm still in junior high, right? So now I'm mixed in with the drug culture because I'm used to this, right? I'm still a kid, so I don't know how I'm gonna make money, right? I got into some mess and I got expelled, insinuating gang activity in Normandy. And so I ended up having to go into what they call rival territory because the next district, which is no longer a district anymore, they were primarily the other side, if you will, right? And so that was even a different mind frame because now I got placed out and I was still involved, but I want people to understand this is a kid in the 90s. It's not like now where you still have the access to moving around or have the communication abilities or even have the wherewithal to create something else. You know, we had very limited resources from the jump.
Yeah.
So these are now even more limited because I had a monkey on my back a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
And now my mind frame is shaped to have a definite false enemy.
Yeah, and for everybody, just to get an idea, like the internet, the World Wide Web, it didn't go commercial until 1992.
92, and we still didn't have access. We still didn't have access to closer to the end of that, like before Y2K.
Yeah, I mean that was like, it was like when the internet came out, it was just like a black screen with like some
it was a whole bunch of stuff on it.
What the fuck that was?
And even when you got access to it, it was the stuff that was relevant to the internet itself wasn't relevant to us because it was mainly as a business sharing platform originally. We didn't have, I didn't know what was going on over here unless we took trips over here, in which we did a lot of times. I didn't travel a lot. We went to Memphis. My mom from Mississippi. And so her upbringing was right there in Memphis because northern Mississippi is right there and that was the biggest town. So my furthest I traveled was there, right? And a little bit around the Missouri and stuff like that because in our environment, we deal with people that are in and out of prison a lot of times. So our main travels were to prisons to go see our loved ones, stuff like that, right? So we didn't have family vacations. We didn't go other places. So that's the type of shaping that we have. It's very limited. It's very boxed in, and it's very matter of fact, right? The affluent things we're taught were for white people. Right? Just think about that. We're a couple generations out of oppression, like standardized oppression. Like we're a couple generations out. My grandmother, her grandmother, her mother, and boom, we're there, right? Because like, mind you, this is still the 90s, right? My mom is still a martyr of that because she's fresh out of that environment. Where do you think it comes over to? And then this region, in particular Missouri, we all know the history in that situation. So it still has some oppression there. And then going through the pipeline of, we see primarily white officers, white landlords, white, everything has a superiority. Every person I'm battling looks like me. So I'm shaping the mind frame of why the negativity is still ever present because some people don't come out of that, not because they don't choose to, it's because they don't know to, right? So further along, I get through those situations. And
because we kind of skimmed by. You went into enemy territory.
Yeah.
How did you get through that? Was there any issue there?
Yeah, it was issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it got really bad real fast, and that's where the aggressive nature came in because it was very survival.
You had to survive that.
Yeah. And so for the periods of, 13, 14, 15, 16, because we moved from over there then when I turned 16 or whatever, because now I'm going to high school, right? That's when it got worse because I had developed this, and like I said, I'm probably going to skip over some things because there was a lot of,
tell us what you want, brother.
A lot of life in that period, especially being, it was a lot of life in that time period, right? And so I got really good at commerce and knowing who to sell to, how to maximize profits and everything. Because I know we're gonna get into the entrepreneurial where that started from. Well, this is where the light starts shining because it came from there. I had a customer. It wasn't, I'm saying you wouldn't think I'm a customer, but they want the product that I'm able to get my hands on. Right? So I have a customer and I'm accustomed to this because this is all I've been knowing my whole life, right? So I got a customer and I'm only able to do this on this level. So I'm able to sustain my own, I've been buying my own clothes since that time, right? And I've been on my own, whatever. So now I have a market understanding, I have competition, right? So, because not only am I in the gang situation, but I'm also competing with people that do this on a higher level full time. And why am I coming through? So now I'm having to fight grown folks. I'm having to fight my peers, right? And I'm also having to fight myself because there's still no identity besides the fact that I know these unfortunate events keep on happening back to back to back. So now this is starting to weigh even heavier because I'm still not getting any counseling behind all these traumas, right? This is just normal life, and I'm wondering why I don't want to participate in some of the antics, if you will.
Did you always know you didn't want to participate in it? Did it take like a lot of these like deep traumas?
No, it when you feel it's a feeling thing. This is the only way I accept feelings for the most part is from inside out. Feelings are supposed to be warning signs, not projections. You know, people, I feel like this. Okay, that's cool and all, but how did you feel when it first came to you, and how did you internalize it? And not projecting, but how did you internalize the pain? Oh, is it pain, or is it joy, or whatever? That's how feelings are supposed to me. And I'm not gonna tell anybody else, but feelings themselves were just, they happen and you adjust to them. So this has been going on for a very long time. I remember having feelings like, I remember one time when I was in first grade, and it's so crazy what you remember, but I told myself I would stay up all night, right? Because I was just so depressed that I didn't want to go to sleep. So I stayed up literally the whole night, and we didn't have video games and none of that stuff back then. We had them, but we couldn't afford those things, right? So I stayed up just thinking the whole night, like, why am I here? I'm telling you, I'm in first grade. Wondering why am I here if we're born to die? Is this life? Because this hurts. Like nobody's ever around. We're not having fun. Like kids are supposed to have fun. We're always trying to figure out what to do. And like I said, my mom did the best she could with what she knew and what she had, right? But it wasn't comparable to have success. And that's just everybody. It's not a knock on her or anybody. It was just environmental, right? And it's still going on to this day. So that's why I do a lot of outreach. We'll get to this in a second. But yeah, I've known this for a very long time that this doesn't feel right. And it just compounded because you still got to live life. Life still is going. You're not stopping. And you only get one of these from what I can tell, right? You have to be as good as your last transaction.
And how, I guess, what is the moment that like you actually make a change to like, hey, look, there's more than this. There's a different route. There's something different.
There were checkpoints, right? There were people that actually believe, because like I say, I'll probably put a cap on some of the activities because it was just a part of what was going on, right? And those lead to traumas too. You know what I'm saying?
These checkpoints?
Yeah, no, the occurrences of that environment, you know what I'm saying? But that just wanted to set the frame up of belonging and needing. But there were just a lot of ill moments.
Yeah, I think people can probably get a good idea that you probably can't imagine.
Yeah, use your imagination. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you know, that it's
environmental.
Not good.
Yeah, it's
especially when you are considering yourself not a civilian. There are things that are probably happening.
At that point, I'm not a civilian, and it's on site type situation where you always on point. You literally develop certain habits and certain mannerisms that what they consider normal people wouldn't be able to function under, like no sleep, like literally. Like, people make choices for these things, and these are just people make choices not to sleep. They make choices not to eat right. This is literally, these are the only things I have. I have lack of nutrition, so I have to eat the best I can, right? I can't sleep because I can't rest anywhere. There's no places of rest, and I always have to be thinking about my next move to survive for the next day. Every day, like it's ongoing. So think about that, and I'm still a child.
Yeah, that's wild to navigate.
I'm still a child.
So what was this first checkpoint?
I was in 5th grade. I remember, and I can remember so vividly because there wasn't that many of them, right? I was in 5th grade, and I had a teacher. We had moved to another district, which wasn't better. It was actually so funny. We lived in this district, we left, and then we came back to a whole nother situation. We moved a lot, right? And this was this teacher, her name was Ora Reed, Miss Ora Reed, my 5th grade teacher, black lady. I'll give you context. All the way up until then, I hadn't had any black teachers. Black neighborhood, black school, because we had no white kids. We had a few Hispanic children because of the neighborhood, but no black teachers, right? Miss Reed was my first black teacher. Miss Reed was no nonsense, and she's still here in life. We just connected on Facebook not too long ago. It was really a full circle moment. It was emotional for me too, because it's one of the first people that actually believed in me. Like, now mind you, I'm telling you, I'm in 5th grade, and by this time, I'm still academically sound. I had this thing where I figured if I did my work, then at least I can get away with the bad stuff I'm doing, because at least you can't say I'm not doing my work. This is survival. This is a child trying to come up with logical reasons why this bad behavior is okay, all right? But I had my counterparts, they're not doing their work. So they're failing academically and socially. At least academically I was leaned upon too. So now that gave me some type of leadership role too. So I'm pulling all these traits out as I'm going along so we can kind of get to the end why I am the way I am now.
Did she, just out of curiosity, because I had a person like this in my life. Was it ever just like a moment where it was just like you did something you shouldn't have, and this person cared enough to like get out there and like say like, dude, don't be a fucking dipshit?
Yeah, pretty much, man. It was so wild because she was like, you better than that.
Yeah,
that was the first time I really ever heard that.
Yes, yeah, I feel that.
She's
I know
like,
exactly what you're saying.
Better than that, and
that's huge.
That was like it was like a switch almost. It's like, wow, I am.
Here's what's fucking crazy. I didn't know you were gonna like say this story, but this is kind of nuts. If you look at my last post, I literally put this up. I said, it's never a bad thing to have somebody around that expects more out of you than you expect out of yourself.
And it gave me, that right there gave me the understanding saying, bro, if they can do it, you got to it first. Fuck, you ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that's a full circle moment, but even then I'm like, somebody actually cares outside of who is supposed to care, because they say your family's supposed to care, so you write them off. Totally. And I learned a lot about birthright too. We'll get to it later, because that's, but yeah, somebody actually said you're better than that. And
wait. Because I don't know if we're going to be able to get back around to it. What do you mean birthright?
Just because I had to learn this the hard way too, because people, when you become a certain status, I'm talking about not monetarily, just overall being able to overcome, people lean on you and they become lazy.
I see.
Right? And so just because, and this is like, well, you shouldn't be. And I'm like, fuck that. If I'm that to them and they're that to me, why they treating me like that?
Straight up.
The fuck wrong with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to give some sort of, resilience to birthright for the most part.
So that's like just like a part of the culture there.
Yeah.
Like family culture, like culture in general.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be able to get fucked over by your people just because.
Yeah.
But you're not fucking them over. But when you do, they call you on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why can't I call you? Well, and they give excuses. Yeah. I'm like, man, fuck that. Why can't I get that? And that's another thing that came, me being so secluded so often, really skewed my sensitivity really bad, because I'm like, well, and that played a part in my ruthlessness in the streets a little bit, because I'm like, well, if nobody has sympathy for me, well, fuck all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, I don't care. Like, why should I care that, such and such had this situation? Why should I care? And now I catch myself even to this day, because sometimes there are certain things that I need to be sensitive to, and I reflect on it a little bit, that I'm like, I probably could have been a little bit more empathetic behind that situation. But you go through all of these traumas, all this time by yourself figuring it out, and you got one shot, and it has to be the best shot. It has to be the shot. And when you fall short, people look at you and they leave you. And you don't become psychotic. And at some point in time, I got a line I say, I didn't heal from the pain, but that's temporary. And I didn't go insane. Man, that's kind of scary. Falling off, not a part of the itinerary. You got to keep it moving January, back to January. And that's that mind frame of like, I don't have a way. I got to keep it going every day. every day, every month, every week, every year. Calendar year, I got to keep it moving some kind of way because I don't have a fallback plan. There's no such thing.
There's no plan B.
There's no plan B, you know. And people always, well, plan B is a scary word because they say, oh, if this doesn't work. Well, that's crazy because you say plan B, you're already thinking about plan A not working. Right? You should see plan A all the way through and do your skills, trusting yourself enough to say, it's not a plan B, this is me trying to get back to plan A.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? I need to get back to plan A. So that person in particular, she gave me the spark to say, I'm actually something. I am better than this, damn. But here again, I'm still, you know, a child, so I'm still trying to figure it out. But somebody at least took the initiative to cut me off, and she actually took me places, right? She was like, well, you know, let's go over here and do this. Like, it was only a few places. Like, it wasn't like some grandiose old trip or no shit like that. But again, my four corners was the scope of my everyday life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, she just took initiative. That was the first person, right? And then progressively, I got in that trouble. You know what I'm saying? Got kicked out, and that was on my birthday, bro.
Damn.
Ain't that fucked up, man? I got locked up on my birthday, bro.
So,
this was in middle school though, so I'm jumping ahead because it wasn't shit going on in that middle time.
Okay, got you. So after that, like, then you got locked up.
Yeah, then I got gangs and all that stuff. So before, I was just acting up before then. I was just being a fucked up ass kid. You know what I'm saying?
So you went back. Okay.
Yeah. So now we fast forward, and then now that happened, and the funny part about it was, I didn't even feel any remorse or anything behind it because that's what I was used to. That's all. Remember I told you earlier, that's all we were doing. So this was natural recourse for me.
So it's your birthday, you get arrested.
Yeah.
Now you're in jail. How long did you go to jail?
No, it was a holding, and then they charged me and all this shit. And they eventually I went to family court.
Went.
Yeah, I went to family court. This is the first time. I went to family court, and then, you know, seen the judge, all blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I still got expelled.
I see. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So now I have to deal with this, and then that led me into the other situation. By this time, I'm already sprouting my wings in game.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? So now they put me over here, and now I'm even more ruthless because think about it like this: when you start winning, because I'm good with these right here, right? When you start, and we wasn't doing pistol play at the time. You know what I'm saying? So when you good with this, and now you get a reputation of being, man, they used to call me new dude. Because I was new to the school or whatever, they called me new dude. Like, yeah, don't fuck with new dude, you know what I'm saying? And that gives you a false sense of security and confidence because now I feel a little bit more invincible. So now I'm getting bolder, right? And now I'm getting a little bit more bolder. And that compounded with my reassurance of academics, I think I'm pretty fucking smart, right?
Yeah.
You know? And so now we're going along, and this is where it turns really crazy because now I'm relying heavily on my own efforts to survive, right? That's when the street really took over, and it took a stronghold on me.
How long did that last?
I don't know if it ever, like, that's, what do you mean as far as?
Like, how long did just that period last where you weren't like, you know, and I'm going to ask questions here about like the hip hop thing and like you're an entrepreneur selling things and how all of this impacts that.
Yeah.
But like, how long was it before you had ambition to like be what you are today?
Okay, so that was really good. So I didn't have that until I started. Man, I walked across the stage. Now I'm jumping all the way to high school because I didn't have any. You talk about the people. I had one person, David Armstead. He was a substitute teacher. He actually was a cool dude. And no, David Armstrong. My bad, because Armstead came later on. He was a substitute teacher for a teacher, you know, that I met him before I got expelled, right? And we used to sit. He, let me do whatever I want. He was a substitute teacher, but he was like, man, you smart, man. Older black man. Second time I had a black teacher.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Besides my middle school, you start changing schools and shit like that. I mean, changing classes or whatever. But the second time I had a black teacher that I was actually able to have a rapport with, right? And he's like, man, like, you smart, you know what I'm saying? So that was a reaffirmation too, like, damn, I am actually worth something. Because again, all the way through here and here, there's a lot of disparity and destitute and just bad, right? now I'm starting to feel some self-worth, but then, like I said, I'm good with these, so I'm feeling another false sense of security too, because I'm thinking, can't nobody fuck with me, right? And then we start getting to some street stuff, and I had some scares or whatever. I had some scares and some stuff that I won't detail into, you know what I'm saying? But those things started making me a little bit more edgy, right? So now it's like fuck everybody at this point in time, you know what I'm saying? But then I go through that period, and I get into high school. Now it's a little bit more free and liberating because now I'm really independent on my own, right? By this time, I started gaining a reputation of young ladies starting to like me. So now it's starting to switch now. Now I got a real purpose in why I'm hustling, you know what I'm saying? So my hustle did amplify because now I'm trying to impress the young ladies that were getting groomed by the older gentlemen. Like I'm talking about, you know, pretty chicks in high school get groomed by older dudes that shouldn't be touching them. Like, fuck that, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
But I'm trying to keep up with them because, you know, from way back in the way back, that's all what was going on. You get the girl, you get the money, get the honey, you know what I'm saying? Like that was the natural progression. You don't think about anything past that. You think about get some money, you get the girls, and you gain your power. You know what I'm saying? Well, by this time, I'm full-fledged into hustling, right? And crazy part about it is I started going to St. Louis Career Academy, which was at the time an experiment for the St. Louis Public School District, right? And at that time, I'm really free thinking. You know, I only want, well, yeah, I'll backtrack a little bit. So when I was going through that situation with, we're gonna call it enemy territory, because I had a friend named Robert Long. We call him Moo Moo. He used to, you know, he was of the neighborhood, but he wasn't so deep into it to where we couldn't get along. You know what I'm saying? He was of that neighborhood, and his mind frame was of the side, but we was just cool. So he went to this program called Aim High, which was out in John Burroughs. And one day I was like, man, what you doing? It was a Saturday. He's like, well, what you doing? And he's like, yeah, I'm finna go catch his bus. You want to come with me? Now, mind you, I ain't supposed to be there. I said, fuck, I ain't doing nothing. I get on the bus with him, right? I go through the program. They ask me, you know, who you are, or maybe we missed you. So guess what I started doing? I started going to Aim High. They know nothing about it, you know? And that showed me a whole different side, like, oh shit, like this is what they doing out here? And this is John Burroughs. This is what they doing out here? Damn. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, but when I get dropped back off, it's abandoned building, boarded up, you know what I'm saying? 40-ounce bottles on the glass, you know, on the ground, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? I'm walking home. Like, and I'm like, man, this is how they living out here. So I got really invested in that, right?
Yeah.
Now, mind you, when I get out of this situation, I'm still going to be who I am over here, and that allowed me to be able to have an air of duplicity, because I don't need to act like that over here.
I see. That's a testament to the power of environment.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
And so that's why I set that framework up earlier, why I was able to, when I got out of it, I was able to prosper a little bit better. And I'm pretty sure there are 1,000 me. That's why I still hold my affiliation, because there's 1,000 me's in every city that if they just get an opportunity to get out of that environment, they probably going to far exceed me, because now they got a me or somebody around me that's speaking the nature of their environment, speaking for them. So now I didn't have anybody speaking. I spoke for myself all the time, right? So going through that situation, there was a gentleman, another black gentleman named Vincent Fluellen. He's still very prominent in the St. Louis educational situation, right? He's seen something in me, so he started talking to the administrators about getting me a scholarship to John Burroughs, because I was turning it up. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell you, academics didn't have a correlation with the way I was, my mannerisms in the streets, because I had a way of separating. I just knew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that ain't got nothing to do with me trying to, you know, and it helped me with the hustling too, because I was able to like be able to be mathematically inclined with my product. Yeah. Right? It made it real easy for me to keep up on money. You know
100%. Yeah.
So he advocated for that, and they said, yeah. They said, we'll give you a scholarship only on one condition. We know where you come from, right? And we need to get you up to speed. We'll give you a 4-year scholarship. Problem is, 4 years is 4 years, meaning we're going to have to put you back, because you know John Burroughs goes from, I think it's 6, 7, 8, all the way up. Well, like, we'll put you back in 8th grade, because at the time it was 8th grade. We'll put you back a half a semester to get you up to speed, but we're gonna have to figure out how to cover that back end, whatever. Now, me being a child still, I'm like, shit, how much is this stuff? So, you know, John Burroughs is still expensive. Back then, it's expensive, more expensive now. So I tell my mom, and by her not understanding the progression of schooling in that, especially for a high schooler, she declined. And I didn't know how to feel about that, because I felt like I earned something and I was not being able to be rewarded behind that, right? And it's not a blame thing. This is her just not knowing how this is going to play out. And when they get to talking numbers like that to someone that's trying to figure out, I'm working 2 jobs, I'm doing, I can't think about that right now. Like, you need to go to the free school like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So that sparked me to go and find Career Academy. Well, I found Career Academy, wrote essay, got accepted. That's where a whole different set of, problems happen, because now I'm super duper independent, right? And like I said, my focus was girls, but I'm still heavily into it, right? And my reputation don't go nowhere. They still got school records. They could still see what's going on. So I ended up, really bolstering my affiliations really bad, because our school colors was my gang colors.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it got real bad real fast because they knew what I was doing.
I see.
And like I said, just let's go all the way back to when I was doing my work and still clowning. Well, this is just the same. Oh, but you can't say nothing to me because this is our school colors. How you going to discriminate against me? And I'm just showing school spirit. They know I wasn't showing school spirit. I was really banging real hard. I started banging like super hard then. You know what I'm saying? And so all that shaped into this child still having all these independent, boisterous mindsets, right? Go through. I almost got expelled from this school. This didn't have anything to do with me, but my reputation allowed me to be in the crosshairs of what they were trying to do.
Gotcha. So then, like, you go through this school. Did you make it through that school?
Hey, man, I graduated, bro.
Graduated, fuck
so,
yeah.
Yeah,
Good
man.
shit.
So crazy part about this is, so this brings it to another checkpoint person, another black male named Garthia Muhammad. We're still friends to this day, right? Now, Mr. Muhammad was a sophomore English teacher. I was a freshman at the time when I first met Mr. Muhammad, and he was not that much older than me. He was a young 20-some-year-old, fresh into the situation, getting his life, but he was stern, and he's a Muslim, right? So he had principles that I had never really. We knew Muslims from people either being out there, fundraising for the nation, or guys that went from the streets and went into the prison system, and then they found Islam, and then they came out, and they were alienated because nobody understood that, right? We don't know what that means. So me coming to him, it was like, oh, it just another dude. But he took a liking because he's like, man, what is wrong with you? Why you gotta be like that in front of all these people? And I'm like, man, you can't talk to me. I don't know you. Like, he wears suits every day, so he didn't look like the dudes that's influencing me. He looked like, and then he young, like, man, we can squad. You know what I'm saying? Like, on that, look, squad means fight. We can go down, but I didn't have, that was in my mind, but I never treated him like that because he always came with respect and love. He didn't know me, but he just, it was just a liking, right? And we both shared sentiment in music. That's, okay, let me get back a little bit to the music component. I started rapping around like 12, right? Very bad. Everybody started off bad, right? But I was.
What got you to start doing that?
R&B music.
So like R&B that you were listening to was like.
Yeah. I couldn't sing, right? So, and I was in the streets. So you can't be out here singing and crooning at the time. Now you got a whole bunch of R&B thugs now, you know what I'm saying? But now you couldn't be out here singing and trying to make these love songs because I'm raised by the old school, right? So you can't be out here. So I was like, well, what's the alternative? And rap was really on the come up or whatever. Some of my influences were like DMX. Well, this is more or less like Ice Cube was a big influence on me because he was just straight, rough, rugged, and raw. And he just spoke my language, man. He just was intellectually sound, but he was hardcore street. So he was one of the first people that I actually was like, I want to sound like him. You know what I'm saying? I really want to sound like Ice Cube. right? And then Scarface, huge because they tell stories. Scarface, like I said, these guys made me feel like they look like me, right? Just the way they shape, the mannerisms, the hardcore, like no nonsense. They don't play, and they was hustlers, but they also were really intellectually sound. So I'm like, that's me right there, you know what I'm saying? So just a tidbit of why I started R&B music, and the first album that got me to like wanting to write was D'Angelo's Lady. My grandmother was a big D'Angelo fan. We used to sit there and just listen to D'Angelo. It came out in 1995, she passed in 96. So we were big on D'Angelo, and she loved Tupac. That was the if I want to say anybody, that was the biggest influence, because I just said, this dude, he legitimately poetically speaks as if he talking to me and I'm talking to him in the mirror. It's
a crazy level of consciousness to be that in touch with your bass.
Yeah, and mind you, I'm young, man. Like, this is 95 when I started getting into, like, man, there's something about those people, and this is the first a glimpse of being able to see culture outside of what I see in St. Louis all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? I got people that are influenced from the West Coast to South, and I wasn't really Southeast driven. Like, that really didn't do a lot for me at the time. You know what I'm saying? So more or less the West, because we were heavily influenced by gang culture anyway, right? So I already naturally looked over there, but Scarface and the Ghetto Boys, and they really did something with UGK. Bun B was really big for me because he had the same mannerisms as like Ice Cube and stuff like that. But I love Pimp C too, because Pimp C was just some of the guys I seen. Pimp C reminded me of dudes I just real, like, I don't give a damn what I'm telling you, and you're gonna deal with it the way I put it out there, and I'm standing on it. And I was like, yeah, me too. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
So those were the things that really shaped my musical stance, and I started telling stories. And if people were able to listen to some of the earlier music, I was really telling events and stories and just put them in a poetic way, right? And I knew, now I know that wasn't the right thing, because, I mean, implications and statutories and all that extra stuff, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that don't go away. And now I know you don't do certain things. They call it dry snitching or whatever, but I was just releasing because I had no other way. And I'm not talking about just
Did you say dry snitching?
Dry snitching, yeah. And I'm not talking about just with me, things that I did. I'm talking about my environment. So putting people involved, you know, implicating, like, yeah, I know such and such was selling this and doing that, and I'm a hustler just like such and such.
Like in your song.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, you know, just writing down in my juvenile mind, I'm just writing it as easy as it's, you know, coming out. So fast forward, that's with Mr. Muhammad, we had a shared interest in music, right? And I was really speaking. I had a song called "Get on My Level" that I spoke, and it was violent, right? But it was very poetically inclined. And he was an English teacher, so he was like, "Man, I really like, you got potential. You just need to shape them bars better." And he's Muslim, so he had different principles. He's like, "You can't be like that, but I'll allow it," you know. So going through. Had a lot of trials, tribulations, dealing with young women, dealing with this situation. But at this time, I'm not as focused on banging so much as I am getting money, right? It still had a base in it, but then I started learning about things like gang enhancement and stuff like that. You know, because I'm like out in LA, they had this thing called gang. They still do.
Gang enhancement.
Gang enhancement, like say I'm flying my colors. That means burn you or whatever. You know, they know I'm a gang member or whatever. And I go do a felony, they're going to more than likely attach, even if it wasn't.
Oh, this is like the charge.
Yeah, they say it's in the commission of enhancing gang activity, but I'm probably not. I'm probably just doing what I do. It's not for the gang. That was just, you know, but they're going to enhance the charges. So what something would have got me a 3 to 5 or 3 to 7 or whatever, they're going to try to tack on an extra 5 to 10 just because they're going to say it was in the era of gang. So now it's called gang enhancement.
And you're like, fuck that.
I said, fuck that, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So even still, I had a scare, and this was a real scare, and it wasn't me trying to be scared of the situation. Somebody did something to me. It was a eye-opening moment. I think I was telling you about. I was, you know, dabbling in some different type of, some harder drugs. and I was trying to sell them. I never really did drugs. That was not weed was like the only thing I did, but I never did drugs because I remember Biggie said, "Don't get high off your own supply," and that stuck with me, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know why I didn't stuck with a lot of other people, but shit, everybody hears things differently. But I was it was in enemy territory, if you want to call it that. But I was lame at this time. I used to be boisterous. I used to fly my colors in territory, and instead of trying to get money, I'm out here actually banging, right? I'm actually trying to get up out of that situation because I'm out here set tripping, is what they call it. I'm out here set tripping. I know I ain't supposed to be over here looking like this, and I'm in somebody else's territory set tripping, basically. So I'm like, this is fucking up the money, and I could in my life, so let me do this. They already don't want me over here because I'm a new dude. Let me go lame. And so I used to just dress real lame, like a civilian. I dressed, and this time it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, man. And I was peddling something at the time, and one of the geeks came up, asked me, was I working?
What's a geek?
Somebody that's strung out on drugs. He geeking, you know what I'm saying? He need a fix, you know what I'm saying? They call them junkies, J's, geeks. So different regions got different terms for them.
Okay, gotcha.
So we call them geeks, and dude was geeking. And he came up, and obviously he was dope sick, you know what I'm saying? And I reached in my pocket. Like, mind you, I'm still a child, so I ain't thinking the same. Like, you would be more, like, if you was like, you would be more careful, like, okay, only bring out what this dude would possibly buy at this time. I'm so involved in my arrogance. I'm just reaching in my pocket. I got that fire on me, the meaning, you know what I'm saying? I'm armed. I got the fire, so I'm thinking nobody gonna bother me. I pull it out. This dude's eyes got big. If we was on Goodfella, his eyes got big as Goodfella. And I'm like, oh, this might be the day, because I know he dope sick, and now they always looking for opportunity, just like I am, but they looking for opportunity because he's dope sick. He's going through withdrawals, some wrong with him, and he like he like, oh, this could be a come up for a while, right? And he didn't try me because I guess my stature, but his eyes got, and that triggered something in me, like, oh, something might be happening right now. I might have to, he either gonna get me or I'm gonna get him. This is the moment, right? Well, I handled my business, and I left shortly after that, not because of him, just thinking to myself, like, that shook me it really did shake me, right? I was like, man.
Because if he came at you, you would have had to do something.
Or he would have been able to get the upper hand on me, because I ain't expecting. Like I said, I'm being a little bit arrogant at this point. You know what I'm saying? This dude dope sick. He already probably. I'm a kid, mind you, too. I'm a little bigger. I'm like, at the time, like 5'7", like 160, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still a kid at the time, right? So he looking at me like, man, but he know better, because if I'm out here, I gotta have something going on. He ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? And it's certain things that don't need to be said that's understood. If you out here and I feel that confident, it must be something going on, whatever. So anyway, I left, you know what I'm saying? I was shook, you know what I'm saying? I thought to myself, like, man, this could be the day. And I thought about that. I said, man, I need to do something different, because this ain't working with that. And I don't definitely want to deal with no more junkies, man. Like, I would need to go back to something safer. You know what I'm saying? Like, something safe. So there was some moves in the middle that got me out of it, but that was a aha moment for me to put a pause in my game and step my game up.
And then you were basically like, so then at that moment, you're starting to get into, all right, I'm gonna do this rap thing.
Kind of, because St. Louis. I still was rapping. I was
rapping the whole time.
I was gaining a fan following through the songs I was doing and everything like that.
I see. So this was synonymous with everything
this was like literally everything is parallel.
Gotcha.
So this goes all the way to the multitasking that I do now, because I'm actually able to handle subjects that are not related on a that guy that's spinning the plates. And
chameleon.
I can adapt to any situation, but that guy that's spinning the plate, he's spinning the plate, and he's spinning his plate, and then he maintains the plate. Like, oh, this needs a little bit more spinning. So that's how I operate now. So all of these, I don't know if you know, I'm bringing everything full circle as we go through.
Hell yeah! Oh, fuck right.
Because you asked me early on why I'm like this, so I'm like bringing all of the skills that I've noticed over the years in this self-reflection of how I got here. So when people ask me, side note, when people ask me how do I do certain things, it's like, man, I can't even take you on this journey, because I'm gonna be real with you. I may not even go on this journey the way that I went on it, because luck had a lot to do with the way I'm here. Luck, like not intellect, not cunning, luck, because it could have went bad a whole bunch of times, right? So anyway,
do you think that some of that luck I created luck in some cases, other cases it's just like divine intervention.
It was divine intervention, but most of it was because you started developing triggers. You know what I'm saying? Like me being able to deal with that situation in particular, that developed something else that I didn't have beforehand. Now it let me have a tripwire of some sort. You know what I'm saying? So now you developed all these life tripwires through and through. So they call it mannerisms or something like that. So you develop these tripwires throughout the life. So I didn't know how it was coming to me at the time, so how can I explain it to someone? And then even create the environment where they'll get it the same way, or if not better than I did. So I have to give them the very watered down version, or I have to give them an alternative that I think that fits them, because I can't give you the way that I got it. I didn't even give it to me like that. You know what I'm saying? I had to deal with it as it came. That came from being young and having those innovations, that innovation attribute as they'll come along.
That sort of like gave you an intention, like having like almost an identity, like the educated thug.
Educated thug music group. Yeah. Well, I say it's music group. That's because I say it all the time, but educated thug.
No doubt, but educated thug.
Educated thug, because over here, and education is not formal education all the time, because I think I abandoned that because it became easy. I abandoned the pursuit of that. Now, of course, I went through the motion, but some people have to try hard at doing certain things, right? And you be smart and being intelligent and smart are two different things. Most people don't get that, and this is by definition two different things. I can teach you how to work that computer all day, every day for 3 months straight. That's all you do, and now you're smart on the MacBook, right? But you can figure out things on your own and how to put them together. That's the intelligence component. That's the problem solve. I didn't teach you that. Now, in the middle of me teaching you things, you learn more things in the middle, like, oh, why you teach me like that? I just learned how to do shortcuts like this, boom, boom. And now you become intellectually sound through me teaching you how to be smart.
100%. In the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yes, sir. It's one of my I didn't get to my book.
Let's go, dude. Yeah. So you hear like the story of the story of Ford and Henry Ford.
Yep.
Like and they're putting him on trial for ignorance.
Yes, sir.
And he says, and he's in court and they're just hitting him with all of these like things, and he doesn't know the answers to them. And they're like, see, this man is ignorant, stupid, and he's like, look, motherfuckers.
He said, hold up. He said, hold up. He said, he got and that's why I now am able to diversify, because of that story. So
for anybody who doesn't know, the rest of the story is that like Henry Ford wins this by basically saying, look, I may not fill my brain with all of this random knowledge.
Stuff, right?
But I have a fucking thing on my desk, a button that I can press that will bring me any knowledge I need at a moment's notice.
Yep, because that
motherfucker's educated.
Yep, I say this all the time. I say, if you know it and I'm with you, I know it.
Yeah.
And it derived from that particular
That's so
story.
crazy. Dude, that book is so amazing.
It's in my rotation of refreshers. I have to, and I can't. Audio book is sometimes, but that's one of the books I actually have to open up and reread every time, because when you read a book, especially a book of human reference, right? I don't want to say psychology, but human behavior. You have to know you have went through more experiences, so now it makes the things that you didn't pay attention to at the time more relevant. So you have to go through that same book without prejudice, without prerequisite. You have to go in it as if you have a brand new mind, but you can't forget certain things, but now you're gonna pick up things that you would have otherwise left off if you had a prejudice behind it. So Think and Grow Rich is one of mine. The Art of War is one of mine. 48 Laws of Power is one of mine. Those Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of mine too. The reason why I use those, and there's other books that I circulate, but those ones are references because they have mind frames that at the time when I first was exposed, first of all, I didn't know nothing about nothing, number one. And I know it's a double negative, but that's how I speak.
No, I love that.
Yeah. It's nothing. I didn't know nothing about. And if I say anything gives value. Nothing is nothing. Nothing is nothing. Period. So I didn't know nothing about nothing at the time. So then once I start applying principles, I still had environmental restrictions where my age maybe, or my economics at the time, or my circumstances prior to that at the time. So now as I go along, I go in it each time, and it's almost like I have to have a mind dump, because if I go in it with something else, I'm going to be clouded, and I came back for a reason. This stuff is so good, I had to come back for a reason, and I don't want it to be shrouded by me having to deal with whatever circumstances I'm going. So it's not like I'm free and clear. It's just that the mind frame says I'm able to push this off to the side right now to ingest this. And every time, man, when I tell you, every time it's like a power up. You know what I'm saying? Every time, and it's also a book that's so unconventional. I almost forgot. I'm glad you mentioned books. This book single-handedly changed my life.
Which one?
This book by Brother Akil called From Niggas to Gods. Single-handedly changed my understanding.
Why is that?
So
why is that, and then how did it change your understanding?
In the title, it say From Niggas to Gods. Niggas is a mind frame, right? It's a mind state. It's a mind state. And we all are living in that certain mind state, but to gods, it's to elevate. It's a human psychology book. And what it did was, as I'm going through the pages, I'm seeing literally how my life was already ordained through the environment. I was supposed to go through this pipeline of these things, and it's already telling me, not detailed, but just saying, oh, you think like this, well, it was already there. You think like this, well, it was already there. And it's not saying you shouldn't think like this, but it's saying you think like this, so how you think this is gonna play out for you? And I read it cover to cover. I was 18 at the time when I got that book. And that was the first book in that nature that I read cover to cover. I think that was the first book I ever read cover to cover, because I couldn't put it down.
That is fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this story is nuts. And for everybody listening, like, they know that we do a segment of this called Think Big, Live Better, but that's our motto. And I just spent a stupid amount of money. So the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a 70-inch sign right here that says Think Big, Live Better, Big Fitness. The name of Big Fitness is, like, the underlying principle is Think Big, Live Better, because there's nothing anyone can do for you until you think
do it. Come on,
you can do it.
It starts here, man. Yeah.
I always tell my trainers this, dude. And you said this earlier on, like Tupac, I can only be the spark that lights the fucking fire, dude.
Other than that, I can only be the spark.
But you gotta be looking for that, you gotta be that fucking gas looking for the fucking spark, man.
Sir.
You gotta be the gas looking for the spark.
Have to be, because if you're not, then you're not going to be able to recognize that you're supposed to be lit right now. You know what I'm saying?
But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That is like my journey and my message as a person, human being.
That's what levitated towards me when we was talking the first time, and I just heard it wasn't the words that you were saying. It was the way in which they came through, and the passion, and then the conviction. Because I can fake passion,
right?
You can't fake conviction, man. You know what I'm saying? And when even looking in here, people might say, okay, this gym is nice, right?
Thank you.
This gym is nice. But I'm like, and I told myself, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? This gym is nice. And I'm like, but shit, that suite across the street, right? I could just go get a whole bunch of shit and just put it in there and just say, I'm doing something, right?
Yeah.
You did this because fitness is a mind frame thing. People are like, how do I lose weight? You got to decide to really do the small things that you don't want to do consistently enough to see the results. And once you see the results, you got to compound that to the point where it's a lifestyle now. It's no longer a decision or a choice or journey. It's a lifestyle.
It's like this, I always tell my clients this, is like, as long as you're not the fitness friend in your group, you're not getting it.
You're not getting it.
You have to become the fit. You do it all. That's all you talk about. That's all you do. You surround yourself.
Oh my God, we know sweet potato fries. We know quinoa. We know. It's like you keep saying those things.
Your identity.
But you're not understanding that comes in a certain type of box. Because I can say, I don't want to shit on nobody, but I can say fast food restaurants. You know what I'm saying? All day long. Or I can say meal prep. I could say, these are mind frame things. And so when I seen that and I seen those 4 words, I said, this is mind frame at its finest.
And so you got this out of this book.
Man, when I tell you, it's almost like it stripped me naked. And it didn't replace. I think that was the biggest thing that I was fortunate about. It didn't give me anything to replace it with. It just took everything out the way and it allowed better things to come in, because you gotta remember all these childhood traumas, all of these occurrences. Those were what I was holding on to, right? And I'm holding on to them because I ain't got nothing else. Well, this stripped it to the point where it made me feel like I can't pick that back up. This single-handedly allowed for Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Think and Grow Rich to be, it allowed for those things to manifest rooting.
How'd you pick up that book?
So, Garthi Muhammad, right? So, he was my high school teacher, and junior year, you ask me about these points, right? Junior year, he was my English teacher. He was my American literature teacher. And I, again, was not doing it. Every time I would go in his class, he'd be like, got my work? Nope, get out, right? Fuck, cool, I'm going, whatever. And so eventually I got kind of old, because I didn't mind school, because if I'm not in school with my peers, then I'm out here with these grown-ups, and we don't got nothing relatable unless I got to amp my game up, and that's tiring for a child, right? So eventually, and banging at the time, like I said, I was more focused on money than anything. Now, of course, I got amplified with but it was more fun at that time. It wasn't more survival. It was more or less like, this is my identity. Now, everybody knows, they used to call me Loke. Like, just in the hood, they used to just call me Loke. And when I got to high school, I got 3 points right here. So freshman year, how it became Magnum, right? Because it was Magnum, then it became Magnum314. We had this group. Everybody always click up in high school. And of course, we coming from all different places of the city, so none of us really know each other, right? But we start taking a liking to each other. There's 4 individuals. It's a young lady named Antoinette Young. My partner right now to this day, Andrew Milkowski. He's a Polish, Milkowski, you know what I'm saying? But it's my dog, you know what I'm saying? And then my partner, Tyron Tucker, he's in Texas, right? We all wanted to have a group. And we all had different personalities, and, you know, they called me Playboy because they was like, well, the girls like you. You know what I'm saying? Somehow the girls like you, so they call you Playboy. I'm not a Playboy, right? Number one, I'm a gangbanger, you know what I'm saying? I'm hardcore. But they wanted that, so I'm like, I need a name. And at the time, MySpace was real popping, right? So I was on my regular page going through trying to find something, and I seen Magnum 314, 3.14, St. Louis. So I thought about Magnum of St. Louis. I like Magnum. I mean, it's more than average. And I felt like my whole persona, even at that time as a 15, 16-year-old, embodied that. I felt like when I walk in the room, my voice, I commanded that. And Magnum means more than average. I felt like I was more than average. So I said, that's my name. My name is Magnum. It's still that for y'all don't get to call me that because y'all ain't never been out here like, but I'm gonna do this. And so then I started saying, oh shit, if I'm gonna call myself that, I'm gonna have to live up to that. So that was a mind frame switch too, right?
Every time you see that.
Yeah, every time I have to, because automatically people, the way things are marketed, right? You get a constant cycle of programming. And with Magnum, it goes to, that's why the gold standard is real huge for me, because yeah, we talk about the bottles and the condoms and all those things, but think about that. Each one of those things are bigger than the standard. Dude,
100%. And look, man, that's a powerful relic to your intention. I tell people this all the time. If you're not living an intentional life, then you're not living intentionally, in which case you're just living whatever the fuck.
Everything, you'll be subject to any and everything.
So if you don't have something that keeps you focused in on your intention, so you gotta sit down. This is as simple as it can be. For me, I was like, I want my gym to be big one day. I want to have a big impact on people's lives. So I'm going to name my fitness business Big Fitness, and I am going to put the biggest fucking logo I can in the gym, so that every day I see it, it's big fucking.
It's a reminder that let's laser back in
and dip. The utility.
And it's not even a building. The building is already here. Right. No matter, even if it stay your size now or it doesn't matter, because every time you walk through those doors, you know I'm coming here for the big fitness experience, not only physically, but I have to get mentally first, right? So that's where that mantra came in. Every time somebody says Mag, I gotta be there. Right? Yeah. I have to, because it's so much in the world that actually already has that programming that I'm embodying this, and I got to show and prove every time somebody comes across it. So, but when they go through the journey of the introduction, like, okay, I'll let you keep that because you embody that, bro.
Yeah.
Like you got that. And like I said, it was like Magnum314 came later because of some situation. I don't even want to go into it, but I end up embodying Magnum314 because like Duke of England. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm catching that, but 314, Power 314, I'm like, that's who I am right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sorry, what was that thing that you said before? What was it? What did you say like 2 seconds ago? My brain just went.
You talking about Duke of England?
Duke of England. What is that? What do you mean?
So back in the day, because I told you I was really heavy into school, even though I didn't do the work, I still was into school like that, right? I studied a lot of history, and they were like, this is the Prince of Wales, this is the Duke of England, like Genghis Khan was of the Mongolian, like it's of your identity, and I really had a stronghold in St. Louis, so I wanted to be identified.
I see what you were saying.
Yeah, I wanted to be.
That's how the title.
Yeah, I wanted to be synonymous with my city. Like I can live anywhere else, but I want you to know that the attitude and the mannerisms that you get from here is unlike any other place because it's in a unique geographical stance where we get everything. They say New York is a melting pot because it's just where everybody comes over from England and over. But St. Louis is different because everybody comes from everywhere. And we get all the cultures mixed in here, and we don't. That strains our identity though, because we have so many different influences that we're always adapting to the next thing. Like for a while, the West Coast, like I said, when I was younger, that had a strong hold on me, right? Then the East Coast got some of it, but then the South really took a strong hold. And then now we got up top, we call them Chicago and stuff, they call them up top. They got some influence on us. So we really, truly have not been able, we have an undefined definity. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, because we always adapting, which creates my adaptation to where anytime I go anywhere, I have a St. Louis state of mind, you know what I'm saying? And they can tell, like, they don't know where I'm from until I open my mouth. They're like, something about the way you move, or even when like I go to other cities and I'm doing projects with people, and like, man, you don't gotta work that hard. I'm like, in my mind, I do. It's not even for monetary gain. My money is byproduct. I'm just doing this because we don't have opportunities like that. So y'all get the shit and y'all can fuck it up and then come back around. If I fuck it up, even if I ain't try to fuck it up, or if I even didn't fuck it up and somebody else fucked it up for me, I might not get that opportunity again. And if I do get it, it ain't gonna come that easy. So that's a mind frame that I embody every time when somebody sees that name. I have to show up and be, not grandioso, but I have to be of a certain level. You know what I'm saying? I cannot shortfall. And it's not even their expectations, it's just my expectation I set. So I gotta set high expectations for myself. So only thing you can do is fall in line for it.
Live intentionally. Like that.
So awesome. It's living. We gonna always run around that thing because that's what it's based all in. So from niggas to God. So anyway, okay, Guatemala Muhammad. Let me get to this story. So one day, right before Christmas break, I hadn't had this man work pretty much all semester. You know what I'm saying? And he said, "Okay, Mr. Griffin, I'm gonna make you a deal. If you come in after this holiday season with my work, I'm going to give you an A, pending it's all right. And if you maintain every situation after that, you get to keep that A." That was the first time I ever had somebody give me such a chance. And I think he was hopeful that I would make good on it, but I don't think he was really, I think we had a conversation about this later on. I don't think he thought I was going to actually do it, but he's like, that takes the pressure off of him to say, like, I'm just not failing you. And I know you're smart. Like, you can do this shit. Like you, but I'm gonna give you an opportunity to at least show me who you are. And the arrogance in me, I said, I'm gonna do this shit. And I did it. I legitimately did it, brought him all his work, and he made good on that, right? And that was the third person in this environment that I was like, wow, I actually mean something more than just, like I said, my birthright. You know, that's already a given that I'm struggling with this self. But these are outside, external people that do not have to give a fuck about me, especially the way I'm acting, right? So that transferred over to just like going to high school, finishing high school, and he was into a business, a network marketing business that, you know, he had to have personal development, and he recruited me in the situation. And that's where I got introduced to books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you know, 5 Pillars of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. You know what I'm saying? I got introduced in that type of environment, right? But from niggas to gods. Because before then I was reading.
Those are all, I haven't heard that one you're talking about right now that you're citing. But like the other books that you have mentioned, are all like those are all like fundamentals. You need even reading one of those books will change your perspective in a foundational way.
None of those would have been possible if I had never gotten to From Niggas to God by Brother Akil. He has a part 2, and it was more common and modernized, and then it did give suggestion. The first one was more big for me because it didn't give suggestion. It gave me perspective. And past that, I really just started to, because books before then I started reading.
We'll get a link in the description for that.
Because that book is still, it's still in circulation, man. I had to find it for my nephew, and I kept, because he wasn't reading it, I kept it, and I'm like, no, bro, you don't understand how impactful this was. That's why I can lead people to the water, but I can't make you drink. You know what I'm saying? This is one of them situations. So I was like, no, this changed me to the point where I had to shape a new mind frame, because it stripped all of those excuses that I had, whether I made them or not, right? And it allowed me to say, you know what, regardless of what's going on, I'm not going to use that as the reasoning. I can use reasons, but I'm not going to use those things that had nothing to do with me. I didn't put myself in those environments. I didn't do any of those things. I didn't put myself around the transgressions, right? So why do I want it? Like you were saying earlier, if you hold on to these things, they will continue to hold on to you. I didn't want to, because I felt, like I said, I'm better than all of these things. So that was the transition over to me getting older, and that was the spark, the pivotal turn to say, okay, let's have a better life. It didn't end there, but it was a start.
How much direct resistance have you had on your way of like, because I am going to get into what's the current and the future next, you know, with like hip hop and your current career and like entrepreneurialism.
Funny part, we can blow through that.
Right. What's so funny to me is that like, and this is why you don't want anything given to you folks. Yeah, man. Because it's never the thing you have.
It doesn't taste as good.
It's always the thing you fucking earned, you know, through the fucking, you don't want it without the fucking struggle.
If I like my size now, man, like, I wrestled. Okay, I 2 things for athletics. So I had he was a white man named Don Snyder, right? I used to, like I said, I used to stay up after school, whatever, because I'm finna get out, go make some plays or whatever. And I was about 170 at the time, but I was always muscular. Like, at that time, I'm doing it so I can knock cats out, for real. Like, you know, that was my main focus. So he used to see me after school. He's like, you look pretty in shape, man. Why don't you come try out for wrestling? I said, wrestling? The way y'all do that? Man, I'm not doing that shit, because I have a perception of, I remember Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, and all those people, Shawn Michaels, the way that they did it, Booker T and all them things, and y'all not doing it the way y'all doing, y'all flailing around each other in leotards. That's what I was tripping, you know what I'm saying? Of course, like I said, I'm young, and I tried it, and long story short, it taught me a whole different discipline for 2 reasons. One, somebody else believed in me and saw something that I couldn't see in myself. Because I went state that year. That was first, you know, competition. You know, I had never had that type of honors, and I had nobody around me to celebrate. It was just me and him. You know what I'm saying? That was but I was used to being alone in my accomplishments, so it didn't bother me as much. But even still, somebody took the time to say, man, I'm gonna just give you a shot. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You know, it's like, we need you, because I had to wrestle back to even get my positioning, because we had enough people in my weight class, right? But it taught me how to be a winner, because my first 6 matches, I inexperienced, I won, but I for sure brute, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, I knew you can do it, and I took a liking to it, and it got me to the highest honor I could have gotten at that time, even in our school history. So that was one of those things. I'm still making it to practice, still doing, but I'm still hustling. But now that gave me something alternatively to stay away from the streets. Now I'm not hanging out as much as I was. You know what I'm saying? I'm not as reliant on my street peers. You know what I'm saying? And it did strain a lot of relationships because I just needed better. You know, but that was another person that just gave me, you were just better. You are who you think you are, and I see it. I don't know how you gonna see it, but I just want to show it to you that you are. And those are the few people. I say it ain't a whole bunch of people. It's just those few people that just say, hey man, you better than this. And as simple as those terms allow me to take the basis of everything I explained to you early on and use that to create the framework until where we are present day. So.
Hell yeah, dude, this is like legitimately like one of the foundational reasons why I'm a personal trainer is because like we have so much power as individuals, not as personal trainers, as individuals to inspire people to profoundly better their life by giving them a few words of encouragement.
Yes, sir.
How about don't just complain and be negative all day? And the thing that's hard, it is difficult, and this is why it's difficult. I'm not going to get on a rant because I do have a question for you here, but because I'm also a ranter. But in any case, like when you are in an environment where there are people who are negative and you come in and they say, how are you doing? And you say, man, I'm doing fucking good. I had a great day. This has been good. Oh, good for you.
I don't want to hear that.
Good for you.
And I used to take offense to that, man.
Good for you.
Fuck it. Oh, people say this shit, like, especially to this day. Now I don't even trip out. They say, oh, I see you doing your little thing. Bitch, who you talking to like that? You know what I'm saying? Now I just understand it's not you. I mean, it's not me. It's your projections. Jay-Z said this, 50 said this, and they say them in different ways, but and Nipsey Hussle, you know, rest in peace, long live Great Hustle, man. That's one of my bigger influences too. He's of my affiliation, but he also speaks intellectually too, you know what I'm saying? So they all say this too. Bro, your opinion don't mean anything to me because, and that's another, I forgot who said it. He said I think it was Jim Rohn. He said you buy people's opinion, you buy their lifestyle.
Oh, I do not know. I do like that.
And so literally all of them embody that. And I'm like, well, you know, just because your projections are put, I don't have to accept them. It's like me saying, me giving you this, right? And if you just don't take it. Just but no, don't even take it. Yeah, just who's it stuck with? It's stuck with me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm still left holding it, but if I give it and you take it now, now you stuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so this is opinion. This is ridicule. This is all those negativities. If I try to give it to you and you never take it, who is it stuck with? I don't have to accept that shit.
Oh, I love that.
You see what I'm saying? But if I give it to you, shit, I'm out. Now you stuck with it.
Yeah.
And what the only other thing you can do besides utilizing it is giving it to someone else.
Right.
You know, but the whole thing is I don't have to accept what you give me. I don't have to. I'm good, you know what I'm saying? But if you do accept that, that's your burden to burden now. And that's unfortunate because you should have just said, nah, I'm good on that. That's where that emotional intelligence comes in.
100%. And no, this is a perfect way to kind of like finish that little bit. That like if you go into that environment where you're trying to be positive, you're saying like, look, I'm having a great day, because you're trying to live intentionally. That person or those people around you, they give you that like, oh, good for you, make you feel bad about having a good day because like, oh, you're trying to make me feel bad because I'm having a good day.
It's like I wasn't even thinking about you.
You are going to start conditioning yourself to not say I'm having a good day in front of them.
I definitely am a victim of that situation.
It's difficult. My whole life is behavioral psychology, because that's my business and everything I've surrounded my life around is behavioral psychology. I'm fascinated in it. But your community and the people that you spend time around, it shapes your behavior and the subconscious in such a way that you're not trying to be negative. You don't even know what's happening. It's subconscious conditioning. Yep. So when you're around people that that do that. You might not be like, oh, that person's being a dick, but you will stop saying I'm having a good day because you're not being rewarded for saying that in that environment. So like, it's like you want to be positive, but if you're surrounded by people like this, you're going to absorb that negativity.
It's a natural recourse, man.
There was a really interesting thing also, this is before I ask you these questions, because I told you I got some, this just makes me want to say these things because it just came up. I just saw this thing where there was a study done where it showed that basically if it was a big study done on like, I think it was something like 50,000 workers in corporate spaces over the period of like 5 or 10 years, something like that. Any case, this was just they cited it. This was a real, I saw this come through on my Instagram, so keep that all in mind.
Okay, good deal.
Disclaimer, but I can definitely believe this. Basically, what they found out of that study was that if you worked in a space 15 feet away from an underperformer, it would decrease your, let me start from the front end so that you can really get the feeling for this. If you sit 15 feet away from somebody who's a high performer, someone who's fucking getting after it, killing it, it will increase your performance by about 15%.
Okay.
But if you sit next 15 feet away from an underperformer and you're in a high performer, it will decrease
dramatically
by double, 30%. It will decrease your productivity. So it's not, you want to keep winning. Some of this, you have to change your environment first. Some of it's not just, it's like you set the intention and your willpower can be spent changing the space. So this is where, like, when people make life changes and shifts that are like stuck in an environment that they can't, like, they're discouraged from winning. They're discouraged, not like directly. It's not like, I fucking hate you. I want you to.
No, this is what's around you. You have to embody it because we're humans. We mimic like, say if I was doing like this, and eventually you would do like this.
Straight.
If I sat back, you would eventually sit back. You don't even know what's happening, and that's a big. I study human behavior as well. So
100%.
You know, so that helps me get along because I'm okay with being alone. Not because, and that segue into sometimes if you're the best situation, I'm not talking about best as far as I'm better than human. I'm talking about circumstantial or ideal, right? If you're the best situation in your circle, it's going to be detrimental to your progress because you have nowhere to go but up. You have nowhere to go back down because you're constantly in that environment, right? You need more people that are actually quote unquote better than you. I seek that. I seek it, like, to the point where it makes me uncomfortable every time I go into a room of people that I know theoretically I shouldn't be here.
100%.
Right? But I make it a point to go, and I make it a point to go by myself because I don't need usually someone there to push off they might not even be trying to do it.
They're not.
But they may, man, we supposed to be in here, man? Like, damn, man, look at, man, that dude look rich, man. Man, you know, I can never get that girl. And now, what's going on? Man, I might shoot it down a few times, but eventually I'm going to start thinking, well, we ain't even talking like, damn, that homeboy is, man, you say, dude.
100%.
Damn, man, what am I doing here?
It's the darndest thing.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm solo a lot. I'm usually by myself a lot, and I've gotten used to being by myself from those early, and now, like I say, everything comes full circle. Being so weathered when I was young, I'm used to almost okay with being by myself, but I can jump into a crowd at a moment's notice because I understand the need and necessity of getting the thing done.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
do you know who David Goggins is?
The Goggin.
Yeah.
I've seen that name. I just don't.
Dude, what the fuck? You need to know David the fuck Goggins.
I probably do, man.
Fuck, dude.
I probably do.
Dude, look.
Okay.
Dude, read both of his books immediately, dude. Immediately. This dude is the motherfucking man, dude. He grew up in a place where he grew up in so long story short, this dude is a crazy Navy SEAL. He has accomplishment on accomplishment of crazy shit. Ultra marathon runner, just all this nut shit.
He speaks motivated. He bald-headed.
Bald-headed, dude.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
His books are amazing. I don't really read biographies, but his books are amazing.
Yeah.
He grew up in a situation of super abusive.
I know his story. I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
now.
he grew up with a lot of racism, like in the town that he grew up with. Like his story is fucking amazing.
He's intense too.
He's so intense, and you know what, like he talks about the foxhole in his second book, and the foxhole is exactly what we just talked about, where it's like there are people when you're trying to win, there are people that will support you, and their support will make you lose.
Yes.
And that is an interesting fucking thing. Because you love these people.
Yes.
You care about their fucking opinions.
Yes, sir.
You don't hate them, but you need to get the fuck away from them because their support is going to make you lose.
It almost makes you lazy.
It's wild. It's wild, but it's
crazy,
so true.
Man. And that's what we talk about going through the fire. You have to go through the fire. At this point, if I can't give anybody else another message, if you're going to use as much energy to avoid it, why don't you use that same fucking energy just to go? As a matter of fact, it's like going through a river, right? If you're on the river, if you just go with it and just go, you'll get to your destination faster than resisting the river, because you're not only are you fighting yourself, but the river's fighting you too. And guess what's gonna happen when you get tired? You're gonna have to take your ass down that river eventually any fucking way. So why not just go with it and stop avoiding fear? You said fear earlier, and I wanted to really make sure I touched on that. Fear of losing, not FOMO, fuck that. I'm talking about fear of losing myself was one of the biggest things that I had to overcome, because when you embody such a dynamic presence, right, it comes with eventually people get to know that's you, right? So they stop questioning it. But eventually you start questioning yourself, like, oh shit, can I really? Damn, they expect this out of me now. And that starts weighing on you way heavy, and that started inhibiting my progress. Because everything I start touching it's almost like I had the Midas touch, but it was always a cap, and I'm like, okay, what's next? Because it's all self-taught, right? Just based off of just grabbing from the environment. Well, eventually the environment starts looking at you like you the man, so where the fuck you grabbing it from? You know what I'm saying? And so that habit developed a fear of, oh shit, if I keep on going like this, I ain't gonna have nobody. So let me calm down for a while. Let me just, and weeks go past, months go past. Look up, shit, I should have did that. Oh fuck, okay, cool. And before you know it, life's still happening. But before you know it, like my partner called me about a project that he's really enamored of. He's like, man, I know when I've been telling people, but they don't got a way to get to it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get that, make up some kind of excuse. And this was just yesterday. And I thought to myself, like, why am I? Because everybody's praising this thing. But since it's such a hard situation, and it looks like it's a team, it's only me, like, I need to get in gear. But then, guess what happens? Fuck, man, I really messed up, because look at all this time that just wasted. You know what I'm saying? And so I really want to speak in fear is a necessary fuel, but you have to use that to say, all right, I got to get something out of this deal.
100%.
I need to get something out of this deal. It really got, coming here, right? Coming here really helped too, because not only am I offering something, but the fact that I can offer, like when I told, like the fact that we so overwhelmed, the fact that you can do, that's motivation in itself. Because
100%.
People look at you like, this place got to open every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Come hell or high water, this place got to open every day, man. And no one gives a fuck about what you have to do to get this place open and keep it open every day. Don't nobody care. They just know that when they walk past every day, like let this place close down for some ridiculous reason, and one of the people that are around her every day that don't speak to you at all, let them walk past her and see this place closed. What the fuck? Man, I wish we would have known, because they love the fact that this is here now. You're a staple. That's pressure, and that becomes fear, because it's like, damn, I got to keep this thing open now. Shit, things are good now, but what if those are the type of things that creep in when you by yourself and nothing's really provoking it. That's the other side of winning that no one tells anyone about.
Dude, winning is interesting, dude. Winning is the kind of thing that'll throw you a party in your honor and like spill fucking champagne on your lap.
All over you, man.
You know, winning doesn't care. Winning's not fair. No. There's no balance with winning.
There's no such thing. I don't like
winning
the word
can't
fair.
wait for somebody to beat you.
No, I don't like the word fair.
Yeah.
Because if you want to beat and I gave you the cliff notes, you want to really be, and I didn't have the most dramatic life. There's people out there that I get to come out with the peaks of them. So that's why they seem so, but there's people that's still in the valleys.
Yeah.
And they went through way worse shit than me. I mean, I had partners paralyzed, partners that lost their parents. You know, not only just males but females. That they have so many things. I'm fortunate enough. Yeah, my pops has passed, but my mom's still here, and I know she's getting age. I still have all my siblings. There are certain things that people I've never witnessed them gone. I've witnessed them going through, and they've witnessed me going through. But I still have most of the people that I was born to. I know a lot of people that don't have that. So I even count that every morning I get up, man. And this is, even this morning, and I do it unconsciously now. I wake up, I look up, and I stand up. And I just say thank you for each time I get to do all of those things. That's it. I wake up, I look up, I stand up. Because any of those things could be taken away from me. If I can't stand up, if I can't look up, if I can't wake up. So I'll tell people, you don't have to be grand to the people, you have to be grand to yourself, but also be kind to yourself too. Because you can be your worst enemy.
You gotta give yourself grace. You gotta
grace and mercy, man.
And mercy. You gotta be grateful, man. Like,
yes.
You're gonna get better in any situation.
Yeah.
It starts with gratitude.
It starts with gratitude.
You will never improve your situation if you're not grateful for what you have.
But then you also have to work at it.
It's a daily practice.
And I say this all the time, and I know I heard it all the time, but it doesn't get easy, you just gotta get better.
That's it.
That's literally, and better in your realm, not to the standard of other people. Better to where you know you can manage and handle this situation. Do it. There's no try, there's only do. I mean, I got a whole bunch of them because these are the things that circulate in my brain.
Dude, that's like there is no try, there's only do. That, like Yoda says that in fucking Star Wars, and I always like will quote this like with my clients, not always, but from time to time.
For the most part, yeah.
I think it's hilarious, and they'll be like, yeah, I'll give it a try, and I'll be like,
don't try. Don't say that shit around me, man.
I'll be like, dude, don't try. There is no try. That's the great words from fucking great master Yoda. And they'll be like, oh, fuck you, dude.
But it's like, look, those are human psychologies that we actually have to embody because there's nothing different between you and I as far as humanistic, everything, like your path as far as your birthright and all those things are different and, you know, the people you know, their influences, but legitimately the same things, the same sorrows that you have, the same triumphs that you have, the same transgressions that you have, the same progressions that you have, I can and have and will have. So now this is where we can sit in front of this camera and on these mics and talk, and you don't look at me like, bro, why are you talking? You know what I'm saying? And the same thing. I'll be like, man, why the fuck am I even here? Like, no, there's a certain type of energy, and that's the biggest word that I wanted to get all the way to, because I know we're kind of getting close to where we are. Energy. Protect your energy, right? But energy, good or bad, is still energy. So you know that if it's bad, you can still transfer it over to good, and if it's good, you can still transfer it over to bad. Protect your energy, and that's all we got that we own. My car, my house, my whatever, we don't own none of that shit, man. Those are temporary situations. But your energy, that's all you got, man. And that means the residue that you left when you were gone too, that energy still lives on. Or even still when you're here and you're not in the company of the people that you either may feel better or feel worse, that energy still leads and manifests with them. So energy is the reason why big fitness is possible.
100%, dude. And I got two more questions for you, but like that's exactly right, dude. And that when you say energy and how there's not like good or bad energy, like pain, joy, all this is just
the same thing.
Energy. This is why, like earlier on, this is really what it means when I say you don't experience life, you experience what you focus on.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you're just shifting your consciousness through the energy that exists. Because energy cannot be created or destroyed. So you always have the same.
There.
And everything is just energy.
Yes.
At the very base of everything.
The molecule, the finite molecule is all energy.
Yeah.
You know?
The weird part about it is that you're aware of it. Consciousness is the one thing we don't get.
Yes.
And you can just look around at the energy that's happening around you,
Yes.
and you should try everything in your power to keep it on the positive.
Yeah.
But like, that's basically what it is. And I also think it's the same thing. Like, you can be in the worst situation. Look, there are things that are happening in the Middle East and in other countries all around the world where people are dealing with some of the most fucking horrific shit you can't even possibly imagine, but still there. Because it's not for me to understand. In my mind, it's not for me to understand where they are, whoever they may be, or for them to understand where I am and for wherever I may be.
Yes, sir.
There is a law. Yes. It's a principle of nature. Baseline under any circumstances. I get it. I cannot say I have empathy for every human being. I would be lying, and if anybody else said they do, they are lying as well. Yes. But what I can say is stay fucking grateful for every single breath that comes from your lungs.
Good, and in between.
And look at the fucking positives. Say, how can I?
Yes.
How can I?
Yes, how can? Why is this happening? I tell my daughter all the time, I said, you want to make sure that you get something out the deal, right? Like we talk about positive and negative because we're both Libras, so we both, and I always use that because we look alike, So I tell her, if you're going through some pain, please know if it's negative, you got to be the positive. You have to be. You can't be negative. You can't be, because now now it's winning. You won when you first, I know we tell you this cliche shit, but you won when you
Dude, it's not cliche, dude. Well, it may be cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. The thing is that when people roll their eyes when you say this shit, it fucks with you.
Yes.
That fucks with. I'm telling you this, you're rolling your eyes because you think I'm the crazy one and you're the one that's fucking me up. Yeah. Like, you need to get on board with this.
Yes.
This is how we win.
This is why I'm the way I am. This is the cheat code.
Yeah. So like, it's crazy because you're going around and you're telling people this, and the reason why you said that right now is because the fucking response is an eye roll.
It was already
because most people fucking eye roll you.
Like, oh my God.
So you feel like you have to apologize going in. Hey, let me let me be real quick. Sorry for this, but let's be positivity wins. It's crazy.
It's so odd.
That's how crazy it is.
But
that's
what makes it nice
is.
though, because they say the masses, the general ability, if positivity was so rampant, right, it wouldn't be special.
Right, 100%.
That's why I embrace negativity.
Yeah, that's interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
Like, go into that a little deeper. That's awesome.
So when we think about the sun right now, we're right now it's 80-some degrees outside right now, and it's fucking almost middle of November in St. Louis, Missouri, right? We're so conditioned to think that this is okay that if it was raining right now, snowing, ice outside, we'd be like, oh, yep, this is what we're used to, whatever. But since it's fucking 80 degrees sunny, not a cloud in the sky, we kind of like, whatever. Like, people outside enjoying it, but they don't look at it the same way as if it was raining, snowing. Nobody's talking about this as if, because being positive, because this is positive. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. This is like, well, okay, but it's going to be rainy tomorrow. And it's like,
move this real quick.
Care about today and what you have. This is positive. Embrace it. But most people don't want to do that because James Clark, I didn't even get. It's a lot of stuff we didn't get. We probably had to do a part 2, man. But
for sure, dude.
James Clark, he works with the Urban League, but he gave me a chance. He's another one of those people that gave me a chance. And we'll get to that later. But he said this, and I don't know where he got it from, but he said people have an addiction to friction. And I accompany that with saying, most people say, most people act like if it ain't wrong, it ain't right. Because if I tell you, like you said earlier, how's your day going? Man, let me tell you this. I just won $1 million in the Missouri lottery. And like, well, good for you, Lee. I'm still broke over here. Even with my music and everything, people are like, oh man, they see the videos and they see all that. Like, well, good for you. I could never do it. And I'm like, oh my God, like nobody, this ain't even about you. But you put negativity on yourself. And I'm literally giving you an understanding of like, man, nobody came and walked up to me and said, hey, bro, do this, that, and the third. I manifest positivity because I was already dealing with negativity in the first place. So I decided to get something out of it. When I give you that, you're like, well, I wish I could think like that. And it's like, but you can't. And now we're going in this whole thing, and now you're starting to see I'm becoming negative because I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, yes, you can. And now my energy is going down. So what I do nowadays, and it's unfortunate, when I start seeing things that I cannot control, I step back from it. And what I mean by control is I could go through the progressions and win, lose, or draw. I'm good with the results. But if it's not going to ever see me favorable, one way or another, I just leave it alone. That's yours, man. It's not mine, man. This yours, man. I don't have the capacity to help that. Because if I did, I would do it immediately and it would be fixed. That's my desire. My desire is not to string this along. And that's how I combat a lot of things. It might look dismissive, but I don't want to ruin things worse than they already are. I don't have the key. Like if you were thirsty right now, I hand you a bottle of water, problem solved, right? But if you say you were thirsty, I'm like, well, shit, I ain't got no money, we ain't got no water around here. So now I'm sitting up here, sitting here in sorrow with you, and now you're looking at me like, damn, dog, I've been thirsty, and I thought you could help me. Why would I sit around that? You know, if I can help you, it's gonna be swift and it's gonna be impactful. If I can't help you, I can only wish, but now that's gonna, I'm gonna carry that with me now, and I can't go help the people that I'm supposed to help, you know, because I'm not equipped to do that at that moment, right?
100%.
So it's almost like abandonment, but it's not.
And this is the kind of stuff that you throw into your music?
All the time, man. Like Magnum314, like, okay, so my tagline is sexy street intellectual gangster.
Say that one more time?
Sexy street intellectual gangster.
Gotcha, I love it.
You know what I'm saying? It all embodies, because those all the elements that, the sexy part is subjective. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come up with that, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I've been given because women like certain things. And it's not only just aesthetics, it's mannerisms and the way that you handle people and the way that you condition people, that's sexy to some people. Street, I mean, of course, that's environmental. I mean, I have to give you context. I'm not poppy, I'm not all these other things. Intellectual, I believe in the problem solving elements that I'm growing and nurturing, and I believe in that. And then gangster, it's not just gang banger. The gangs came from unity and being together and enforcing your message and embodying the culture. That's where gangster means with me, right? So when I say sexy street intellectual gangster, all of those embody the way that I come through in the music, even if it's a party record, if it's a subconscious record, if it's just a informational record, or if it's just me just being lyrical and just giving you some of the wordplay or whatever. They have to meet that criteria in all elements or whatever.
And what's the future goal for your music brand and everything you've got going?
So I would say monetary, but it's not, because I can make money. And I make money all the time, so it's not. That's a byproduct to me, right? So I think if you're good at it and people want it, you should get paid for it. So that's off to the side. My goal is to be able to have someone see, man, I resonate with that, and music is therapeutic, right? So I can reach more people with music than I can with a lecture and anything like that. So I use that as a vehicle to be able to push and be that spark. My mission is to be a spark to anybody's desires. If not individually, but just overall. If I can make an impact and say, well, when I make an impact, because I think I do make impact with this music. You heard a song. I have a song called "As a Man I Stand." I don't call him a fan. One of my fam. He's locked up now, man. It's so messed up. But at the time, I used to bump into him all the time, and he said, "Man, you don't understand. I get up every morning and I listen to that song on repeat while I'm getting ready to get out my day because of what you say, how you say it, and I feel you." And I got it tatted across my chest because that's how impactful it was. This before I met this young man, you know. And I'm like, if I can do more of those, when I do more of those things, those are the type of inspirations I want to keep giving to people. So music is just a therapeutic, universal vehicle, and it allows me just to keep on putting it. As long as I'm able to create, I'm gonna put it out there in the world. And if it's messaging there that can relate to you, great. If it can entertain you, great. If it can inspire you, great. But my mission is to make sure that it's in front of you in the best way I can. That's best byproduct. Yeah, you should get paid for what you do as a profession because you got to be able to continuously do it. That's not my motivation though. My motivation is to be able to give you the best product that's going to be able to add value to your life.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing thing.
And music is it's like it's this one thing that really does have like this wild, like for me, there's two bands I can think of right away. And it's funny because one's a metal band and one's a hip hop band.
That's so right.
So it's like for me, I would consider myself a metalhead, but because this hip hop artist was my #1 most listened to, and I was top 1% listener of him because I'll put like one of his songs on repeat. My wife thinks I'm nuts, but I'll put one song. I'll have one song that goes for like hours and hours and hours, just over and over, and I'll listen to that song for months. Like,
I know how that goes.
So I became, because it's so powerful in the way that like is helping me in the behavior that I'm trying to, whatever, right? So in any case, I don't know what that is. I've always been interested to know, like, why is it that like when there's these vibrations going through my ears into my brain, like I'm motivated in a way I'm not really motivated
in any other way. It's so crazy. I can't. That song came out in 2008, right? I still reference it as if it wasn't me, because I'm gonna send you a link to it so you can listen to it and you hear what I'm talking about. But that's one of those things. And then like I'll listen to it over and over again, not because it's me, right? I listen to it because I don't remember being present mentally when I was conceived, when I put that song together, because it is like a declaration. And I know what you're talking about, because when he said that, I didn't be like, really? I was like, wow, it did what it does for me. I have to keep doing and creating, because even if that was the only work that I've ever put out and it did that right there, I did my job.
Yeah.
You know, it's so amazing, because we work at it as if it's a skill. You have to get fine-tuned, but the path that you go down, it's not defined by, I can teach you how to rap. I can teach you how to write a rhyme and everything, but the way it's convicting, good, bad, or ugly, it's individually stem from who you are. So I feel like I'm giving people me every time I put any composition together. And now when we talk, we don't talk about the music, we talk about how it made you feel. And that's all I care about.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Well, dude, I got one more question for you, but dude, it is like 2 hours, which was such an amazing. I wish we had more time. We'll have you back on the podcast again, brother.
Man.
Thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you, man.
Yeah, dude, it's been fucking badass time, and again, just like so grateful. I get the opportunity to like sit down and ask questions and dive into people's lives like this, man. And this is what I do for a living, so just like I get just fucking jazzed up with this kind of thing, and this is why I asked this last question, really, because I'm like, man, if I wonder what every single person, everyone, what their message would be to the world right now if they had the ears and eyes of every single individual on the planet, every culture, every religion, every single thing you can think. If they could listen to you right now, if like this was your moment to like give your message, your 2 cents, what would it be?
Regardless to what you're going through, what you've been through, and what you think you're going to go through, your journey is so unique that it's important to this world. It's important to your world. It's important to everyone's world. Just make sure that you're not forsaking that particular journey. Do not shortchange yourself, because no matter how insignificant you may think you are just as important as the person, as me on the podium speaking to you. You're just as important as the person that wrote that book, or is that you're important, because once you're gone, there's no more you. There's not going to be a duplicate of you. You are just as important as any and everybody that's ever graced this earth, every being that's been here. So make sure that your presence is on a positive note, and if it can't be because of outside, just make sure that you're being beneficial to yourself first, and then you can be beneficial to the world. That's where I'm at.
Hell yeah, man. Well said. Well, thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Yeah,
Where can they find you, man? It's all down in the description, but go ahead.
Yeah, IG is the easiest, because I respond to IG, Magnum314, MAGNUM314. Yeah, man, my man got this situation. You know, I've partnered in with this company, Majestic Gold. The link is going to be in the description too. I partnered in with this company. It's hair and body butter. It's like a miracle, man. I just been loving. I believe in this project. We'll get more into it later on, but Magnum314 merch is going to be on there too. But yeah, just tap in. Magnum314. Hey, I love being who I am, because I'm made, but I'm not fake. You know what I'm saying? This is a created person, because the world allowed me to be here today in front of y'all, man. So thank y'all. Magnum314 on IG is the easiest. It's gonna have all the links to everything else. And yeah, shoot me a message, I talk back. So let's do it.
Absolutely, dude. Well, fuck yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming. That was badass.
Hey, man.
Good shit. And thank you all for coming in and listening. Go follow Magnum314, all right? And remember, always remember, think big, live better. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.